Francis Marion is going to make you into a lifelong student. You never quit learning, you never quit studying.
I truly owe a lot to Francis Marion. I'm very fortunate to call myself a graduate of Francis Marion University. The professors truly care about the quality of the education you receive. And I think over the last 40 years, that's evident in the quality of the graduates that have come out of Francis Marion over that 40-year period.
My education at Francis Marion had a tremendous impact on my life. We had a tremendous faculty. It prepared me to compete academically as I went on to medical school and then law school. I was exposed to a lot of students from Harvard, Yale, Duke, and I felt very competitive.
While at Francis Marion, not only did I receive a quality education, but I also received opportunities. It was instilled in me to be confident, work hard, and have the drive that I needed to be successful.
I often tell folks that's a good degree that you're going to receive from Francis Marion because of the close-knitness of the staff, of this faculty.
Today I feel disciplined, I feel well-equipped to handle the challenges that come at me on a daily basis. And I think the discipline that I learned during my years at Francis Marion have prepared me very well.
I'm proud to be a product of Francis Marion University.
Thanks, Julian. And I know last year we had lights and we couldn't see each other, but it's a lot better because we can actually see your faces this time. And I am honored as well to be here. It's a beautiful night, a wonderful occasion. I told Julian he has one responsibility tonight. I was in Los Angeles having a business dinner last night. Got on a plane at about 11 and off this morning at 6:30 in Charlotte, so I haven't slept that much. So if I nod and fall asleep in front of all of you, he's got the responsibility to keep me awake. Sleep or no sleep, there's no place that I would rather be. For about the last 4 or 5 years, I've had the opportunity to serve on the Alumni Board. For the last 2 years as the Alumni President. And one of the unique opportunities you have as a president is being a part of a committee that selects the outstanding alum, the young alum, which are our traditional awards. And over the last few years, that list of potential viable candidates grew to 2 or 3 pages long, and we were struggling to say there's just so many people here, how do we only recognize a few? And I think it was Dr. Carter who came up with a good idea. He said, well, let's recognize more. So I think not only did we change venues last year and create a new beginning, tonight also marks a new beginning where we talk more about the stories of graduates of Francis Marion University. And they're truly, truly amazing. As Dr. Carter knows, when I get a mic, I like to brag a bit and sell a bit. Both I need to do, brag about the college and the alumni, as well as sell the Alumni Association and the role that we all need to play as graduates. We're working very, very hard. Julian is doing an outstanding job to support us as a board, to create a new voice for the Alumni Association. The logo you see here is part of that. We've got a great collection of alumni who've come together to give their time, their energy, their creative skills to do a better job to allow us to connect with our alumni community. We're 18,000 plus strong now. There's a statistic that we use that good universities have between 10-15% of their alumni that are connected with their alumni association or giving And we're working off of that number, but it just seems really low. It seems like to me that should be a number that's 50%, and we're south of 10. So we have a drive as Alumni Association, as leaders there, to find a way to reconnect with you, to get more people involved, more people connected with the university, with its vision. And we talk about a circle that starts as all of us in here that are alumni. We were students. As students, we become graduates, and as a graduate, we immediately have the distinction of being an alum of the university. But what we've talked about and what we need to try to do to complete this circle is we want to go 2 steps further. We want our alum to become connected, and we define connected as being lifetime members of the Alumni Association. The next step is to become engaged. And once you're connected, we want to try to create a conversation between us that brings you closer to the university, and engagement in the way that we can use your time and your financial resources to complete that circle and go back to the Francis Marion Foundation and start a new student on their journey. We've got to continue to complete that circle. And our tagline that we've developed is, we want everyone to join the following to help us build a new story. And that's what every student represents. That's what we represented when we started as freshmen. And tonight, we're going to celebrate, we're going to recognize a handful of those stories and how important that's become, and the successes that are being created, the dreams that are being created off of the foundation of a Francis Marion degree. So again, we're going to challenge you a bit. I'm going to try to sell. We're creating opportunities to reach out and reconnect and get more people involved, because nothing will sell this university stronger than the success of its graduates and the fact that those graduates are engaged in supporting the future of the university and its vision. So that's our challenge to you. We're going to continue to work on that, try to get better. We do want to get to that 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, but I think we need a challenge to try to one day fill up this venue and statistically be able to have at least half of our alumni engaged some way, shape, or form in supporting the vision of the university. So that's enough from me. If you would, I would like for you to welcome our president, Dr. Fred Carter.
I'm so glad we had those stairs installed. You know, I was vaulting up and down on the stage. You really believe that? Anyway, let me tell you how pleased I am to see so many people turn out tonight. You know, it was 14 years ago that I came to the university, and one of my very first events at the university, I arrived and assumed responsibilities in April 1999, and about a week later we had our very first, for me, Alumni Awards event. And there were probably about 30 people gathered in the corner of the Palmetto room that evening, and Tripp Anderson won the Outstanding Alumni Award. And I was just sitting down here with Folly and thinking back over that and looking at this facility, looking at this video, considering our university. My friends, we've come a long way. But as James reminded us tonight, we have a long way to go, and we'll work in that direction. Now, many of the successes we've had are due to the men and women who serve on our board of trustees, and I'd like to take just a second this evening to introduce those trustees that are here in attendance tonight. They do a terrific job in the governance role of the university and championing the resources that make things like this Performing Arts Center possible. Let me ask if the trustees would stand when I read their name, and if you'll remain standing, we'll all provide you a round of applause at the end. Randy Dozier is our chairman. Randy. W. Coleman, George McIntyre, Tim Norwood, Brad Bowles, Eddie Gunn, Gail Richardson, Ken Jackson, Stephen Jones, and Tracy Freeman. And I dearly hope I haven't missed one. Ladies and gentlemen, our Board of Trustees. This event is always a splendid occasion for bringing together the FMU family in celebration of our own. And our own family has become larger and increasingly more visible over the past few years. Let me provide you just a few current statistics regarding the size and composition of our alumni. And James, you were off a tad. Currently, we have 19,183 alums. 15,262 live in South Carolina, right at 80% of our alums. And by the way, for those of you who have attended commencement the last few years, our commencement graduation classes are right at 95% South Carolinians. I always remind the legislators in attendance, and I won't hesitate to remind the Attorney General here this evening, that this university is the best single investment per capita in economic development in South Carolina. Half of our people don't come from out of state. We educate the sons and daughters of South Carolina, and you know what? We always will. That's our legacy, and that's our destiny. Roughly 56% of our alums, 10,701, continue to live in the PD region of South Carolina. I make no excuses or apologies about that. The PD's our home. We love it. We enjoy being here. And you know what? Those counties in the PD, I think, appreciate Francis Marion being located right in the center. They're so appreciative. In the last 8 years, we've raised over $65 million privately to support the university. All of that money, excepting one $200,000 contribution, has come from the PD region of South Carolina. A nice statement about the generosity of our home. Now, here's one very enlightening statistic, which I think really reflects the growth and dynamic nature of our institution. Almost 1/3 of all of our alums have graduated in the last decade. So this is an institution that can truly say the best is yet to come with regard to growth and change and progressivism. And I think we're very, very proud about that. But there's more. Beyond the quantitative data, there's an illustrative, very qualitative profile. 42 years after the founding of the university, you'll find that our graduates are represented in significant numbers in major professions throughout the state. Medicine, law, business, economics and accounting, education, the natural and social sciences and the humanities. Among our graduates, you will now find elected members of the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive branches of government. You'll find corporate CEOs, CEOs, CFOs, COOs, and you'll find our folks well represented in the academic professorate, the military, and the clergy. You know, over the last 14 years, I've met a great many of these graduates. I've listened to their stories. I've listened to their memories of our very, very unique institution. Frequently, their narratives end with a very poignant comment that underscored, were it not for FMU, they likely wouldn't have acquired a college education at all. By the way, that's still a common refrain at FMU. Even among the 4,200 or so students that are currently matriculating, 40% of whom are first-generation college students. And without exception, every single conversation underscores the fact that they have enormous pride in the school, whether they refer to it as a college or a university, their classmates, and most especially the faculty that taught them. Tonight we honor 4 alums, and we recognize their achievements and successes. For a few minutes, we'll embrace their accomplishments And for these four, they are especially noteworthy. And we'll also have the opportunity to praise their commitment and their loyalty, and I hope their future giving to their alma mater. But the recurring theme tonight, indeed the most recurring theme, just you wait and see, will be the accolades for the faculty. You know, at FMU, as the old adage goes, everything that's good ultimately comes from the faculty. And tonight's awards recipient, all four of them stand as living testimony to the truth of that statement. So, for the next few minutes, just sit back and enjoy the program as Chad, Rainey, Jessica, and Alan receive the accolades they so richly deserve. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. I appreciate that. As we look at the awards that we typically have awarded over the last few years, with the Outstanding Alumnus Award, with the Young Alumnus Award, the Benjamin Wall Ingram III Award, and also occasionally we'll do Volunteer of the Year Award for those who've been doing some unusual things with me and throughout the times. We're looking at the years ahead, and as Dr. Carter alluded to, the various industries and the different places that we find our alums serving and in their careers. We looked at several areas, and one of the areas we want to start this year and recognize in particular, besides our outstanding and our young alumnus, we want to look at public service and law. And briefly, let me just share with you what that particular area and the things and thoughts that we had would entail. Honorees for the Public Service and Law Award would include alumni who serve in any form of public or legal service, including attorneys, members of the judiciary, civil servants, elected officials, nonprofit administrators, and community activists. As we, as a committee, were charged to look at a long list of very able people and alums that have excelled in their various professions, we really struggled from time to time. We'd narrow it down to about 4, and then we'd struggle and narrow it down to about 3, and it just kept week after week until we finally said, okay, we would reach a consensus and we'd say, okay, but can't we save them for the next time too? So, you know, we never get away with taking anybody off the chart, so to speak. We hold on to that and think about, wow, this is going to be tough throughout the years, but what a joy to finally single someone out and say, let's start with this person. Tonight, I want you to see someone, meet our honoree for the Public Service and Law Award.
Law has been an important part of my life. It's been a profession that even when I was a young person that I desired to be in. I come from a small family, a family of 4. I'm the son of a retired United States Naval Master Chief, and being the son of a Master Chief brings its own set of challenges. My primary duties are to provide legal representation to South Carolina Electric and Gas Company, which is referred to as SC&G by most people. When I'm away from work, there are several things I like to do, but the most of which are to spend time with my wife. We enjoy exercising together. Another hobby that I have is I enjoy playing the guitar. It's something I picked up here recently. It truly has been a blessing to attend Francis Marion. I can think back to certain professors who were, whether they realized it or not, were instrumental in my life and helping me be a better student. I certainly want to uphold the dignity of the award, and I want to honor the award. Francis Marion, to me, is an extended family, and I hold memories at that university that feel as though they happened yesterday.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the first recipient of the Professional Industry Achievement Award in Public Service and Law, Mr. Kenneth Chad Burgess, class of 1995. Congratulations, Chad. One of the other new awards that we approached was an award in education and the arts. And we decided that this award for honorees would include alumni who served in the field of education, including early childhood education professionals, K through 12 teachers and administrators, adult education providers, higher education faculty and professionals, researchers, education proponents, performing artists, and visual and literal artists. We, again, had a wonderful array of people that were on the list to look at, and we had a wonderful time and yet struggled occasionally. But someone kept popping up to the top, and we had an opportunity to say, this is the year to recognize this particular person. I would like for you to meet our honoree.
Well, I grew up in Sherrill, South Carolina, as any other rural Southern girl. Had a great childhood. Went through the public schools in Sherrill and graduated from Sherrill High School. I then decided to go to Francis Marion University and graduated there in biology and chemistry in 1977. And like most young people decide, what do I want to do in life? Decided to go and look in the teaching arena. They had a biology opening. Outside of my professional career, I've always enjoyed antiquing. I've always enjoyed reading. I've always enjoyed outside activities. One thing people don't know about me is I'm pretty solitary. My job requires me to be very extroverted and gregarious. I like a lot of time by myself. I love the people in Darlington County. They've been very good to me in my career and my profession, and I was very fortunate to become superintendent here. Sometimes I leave my office and I go in classrooms simply to watch good teaching, and that's the joy of my day. I'm so honored that Francis Marion would think that I would be deserving of such an award. I feel like I'm like everybody else out there working to do the very best they can in education and in the arts. I am very excited and very proud to represent Francis Marion. It's thrilling to have this award, but I don't know that I'm any more deserving than anyone else.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure that I ask to come to the stage Dr. Rainey Harris Knight, class of 77, for the first recipient of the Professional Industry Achievement Award in Education and Arts. Congratulations, Dr. Knight. Now, another exciting time in the life of our Alumni Association is looking in the last 10 years of those alums who have come into their own profession, sometimes adding degrees to their resume, sometimes going to school at night to work on the MBA, etc. But finding their niche in various places in their career path and sometimes changing paths over that 10 years. But within that 10 years, we do look at alums who have certain criteria, that meet certain criteria to become the Outstanding Alumnus of the Year. And that particular award is named after Benjamin Wall Ingram III. For outstanding service in not only in their career, but service in their communities and in their family lives. So as we looked for several, we had several nominees come up, and then one came at the very end. We were close to finding someone, and it just made sense when we looked at her resume that this particular young alum needs to be recognized. And so this year, we're really excited to offer our congratulations, and I would like for her to come up in just a minute after you meet Jessica Mason.
Hi, my name is Jessica Mason. I'm married to Michael. We have 3 kids, Michael Jr., who's 12 years old, Brianna, who's 10 years old, and Josiah, who's 4 years old. I attended Francis Marion University from 1998 to 2002 and graduated with my bachelor's degree in accounting. I then went back in 2004 and graduated in 2006 with my master's degree in business administration. I am currently employed at PD Electric Cooperative. I'm the Vice President of the Accounting Department, and we oversee the billing of all the electric cycles, accounts payable, and payroll. Outside of work, I enjoy going to church, playing tennis. Spending time with my family is very important to me. You know, kids especially, need to want to feel loved, and also when it comes to education, we have to be our kids' example. I think winning this award makes my kids very proud. It gives them something to kind of look at and say, Mom did this, Mom won this award. So I think it kind of gives them a little boost. I have always been proud about being a graduate of Francis Marion University, and this award just adds to that pride. It's made me feel like my education was well worth it.
I might like to add that I believe half of PD Electric is here tonight and in support of Jessica, and it's a wonderful thing to have all of you here. Thank you for your support. I know she and her family are delighted that you're here. I would like to introduce to you our new Benjamin Wall Ingram III Young Alumnus Award, Jessica Rush Mason, class of 02 and 06. She's having to walk a little slower on purpose. What a wonderful sight it is to see how our alums are spending their lives, not only in their chosen professions and in the areas that they enjoy working, but in their families and also in their communities and in the state in which they live. It's always a delight to see and to search for that outstanding alum who represents many facets of what we believe is an outstanding alumnus of Francis Marion. Some of the criteria that we look at when we're searching for the right people, of course, they should have a baccalaureate degree or a master's degree from Francis Marion. They should convey a strong sense of pride and loyalty for his or her alma mater. They demonstrate success in their business or professional field. They serve their community through an active involvement in civic and charitable organizations. And it is a wonderful opportunity to look at the various people that a number of you sitting here today would meet that criteria. When we narrow it down to a committee and begin looking at every facet that we can, it becomes a time for all to say, we'll start here, and that's just what this committee did. And I'd like for you to meet our honoree.
Well, the role of the Attorney General is to be South Carolina's Chief Prosecutor, Chief Legal Officer, and Chief Securities Commissioner. I currently supervise a staff of just under 200 employees, 75 whom are attorneys, and our job is to represent South Carolina in all legal matters. Probably the first thing I think about when I leave the office every day are my children. You know, going home and having those kids come and tackle me is probably what I look forward to most. Being Attorney General is what I do. Being a dad and a husband is who I am. I graduated Francis Marion in May of 1996. I was a political science major with a minor in history. My personal experiences at Francis Marion were wonderful. It set me on the path that led me to where I am today. I received my commission in the military as a second lieutenant in the Army. That ultimately took me to law school and helped me to become Attorney General of South Carolina. But most importantly, I probably developed some lifelong friendships that I carry with me to this day. Francis Marion gave me the foundation. It was the first institution I went to outside of my own home where I actually got challenged academically. The professors, the students that I went to school with, my friends, they all challenged me to be better than who I was when I got there. And I left Francis Marion after 4 years a much better person than I entered. When I think about all the people that I want to thank for getting me to where I am today. And I talk about the people, the friendships that I took from Francis Marion, I would be remiss if I didn't mention my grandmother, Martha Dusenberry. It was during that 4-year period that we really bonded. So Granny, I just want to thank you for all that you put up with during 4 years that I was at Francis Marion, because you also played a major role. So thank you. I'm now doing the job that I've been elected to do, but Francis Marion is what gave me the ability to be here doing this. So thank you, Francis Marion.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to introduce to you our outstanding alumnus, Attorney General Alan Wilson, class of 1996. Alan.
Now I know what it feels like to receive an Oscar. What a beautiful building. I walked in, I was kind of taken back. We don't have this kind of stuff in Lexington. But first off, I want to say, Jessica and Rainey, I know why y'all are here tonight. Chad, I'm not sure why you and I are here. And I joke, because Chad's a fraternity brother of mine, and I'm very proud of him. He was a leader in our fraternity and learned a lot from him during that time, and we always joke with each other. But it's glad to see your success too, and of course it's glad to see so many people who I got to be friends with over the years, some who I met at Francis Marion, others I've met since that time. You know, I'm here tonight with my family, and before I introduce them, I want to say that Julian was calling me earlier today to say, Alan, we're going to ask you to say a few words, and he said, we're not going to put a time on you, but first off, Julian, you do realize I'm a politician and a lawyer, so that makes things pretty harrowing for the people in the audience, but he did say, please say a few words, and I want to thank my family, but I also learned one thing when you run for office: you never stand between people and leaving or people and eating, which I understand are two things you want to do. But I want to thank my cousins that are here this evening, obviously the Snow family, Stuart and Wesley, and Richard and Kristen for being here. Mom is representing the rest of the Wilson family. My wife, Jennifer, could not be here this evening due to a conflict with work, but my mom, who really got me through the first 18 years of my life, thanks, Mom. And my dad, who's not here this evening as well. And then, of course, y'all met Granny on the short video, and she got me through the next 4 years, which are probably the worst for both of us. But Granny, thank you so much for being here. Love you so much, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you today. Dr. Carter, I really enjoyed your remarks, and I can tell you one thing is absolutely certain. Francis Marion played a major role in shaping who I am today. It wasn't for Francis Marion, I would not be where I am. I can tell you this, as a young freshman, I can recount my first day very vividly. I began my career at Francis Marion with a great deal of fear when I was in Political Science 101, and Dr. Neil Thigpen walked in a class of about 100 people, and he walked up there with nothing. He was in his shorts, flip-flops, and a sweater with a hole in the elbow, and he had those aviator glasses, and he had a big cigar hanging out of his mouth, and he talked for 50 minutes without catching a breath, and I frantically took notes. I think I had carpal tunnel after that, and I'm like, wow, this is the major I've chosen for myself. And of course, I ended my career in fear when I had Curly Talon, so I had bookends there. But I learned so much, not just from my education there, but from the friendships I've developed and the people that have helped me get to where I am. I want to close with this. We all graduate from Francis Marion, which means we all leave Francis Marion. But I can assure you, Francis Marion does not leave us. Thank you for this award this evening. I'm very honored.
Dr. Carter, that is very special. And I had the number wrong. I had an old statistic, 19,000 plus. So, you know, we celebrated 4 stories here tonight, and there are thousands more stories being written as we speak, starting their first journey at the university and moving forward. And I do say college every now and then. I'm one of those, it was college, so it slips, but the university. And I think we all should be just so very proud. I do want to recognize someone, I said his name earlier, but you just don't understand how much work that he does behind the scenes. We understand it as an alumni board, but sitting here and watching the progression of this award event that started on campus and what happened last year and here, I think we all need to give just outstanding thank you to Julian Young. I got a little bit of a sale left. We do have these packets out there, so any alum that are here, I want to challenge you, if you're not a lifetime member, if you're not a giver, please start tonight. If this event doesn't move you to get involved, you know, it's going to be hard. We're going to keep working at it. But this shows you why we need you involved, and remember, it's all about creating opportunities for those students that Dr. Carter talked about to allow them to start their dreams, start their journeys, start their stories. That's what it's all about. I want to recognize some people that helped us tonight. The Student Alumni Association was here manning doors and welcoming, so thanks to all of you. They'll be there to help give out. We have some items on our table as well as these packets that I've talked about. And I think there is still some desserts and coffee out there, so please mingle a little bit more, shake the hands of these 4 recipients, and let's continue celebrating for a while longer. Thank you for being here. Please drive safe as you're going home.